First off, let me start by saying good morning to everyone, or good afternoon. I wanted to say mainly to all of my African American brothers out there, man, I love y'all, and I pray that we all are able to function and get through this troubling time. Because again, when we constantly see these videos of us being assassinated, being disrespected and murdered, regardless if we resist or surrender, we're constantly seeing the same results. And at some point in time, it's like, how do we deal with the way we're being treated respectfully when we've done everything that has been asked of us? When I saw the video of the young man being murdered, Colin Kaepernick was the first person that popped in my mind. And I said, I just feel like that as African American men, we didn't support this brother enough when he was taking a knee for a real cause, because the media and everybody else changed the narrative by saying he's disrespecting the flag. They brainwashed America to believe that this man was disrespecting a flag when the knee was because of the way unarmed black men are being treated in America. It was so hard for me to watch this video. It was like, as I heard the young man saying, man, what are y'all doing? He can't breathe. I put myself in the shoes of, if I was there witnessing that, would I just have stood there saying, sir, what are you doing? Or would I have attempted to save his life by interfering with what was being done? And knowing me, I probably would have been murdered, because had I rushed that officer and knocked him off of the young man, now the focus is on me. Now everyone would have said, why would he do such a thing like this? And now they're going to take actions to assassinate me. So they're going to pull their weapons and they're going to kill me. They would have cuffed me, beat me unmercifully, and then killed me. But it's like, at some point in time, when is enough enough? Do we just stand by and keep witnessing us being murdered? It's almost like so my son contacted me today. Pops, how you doing? Bro, I'm good. And I said to my son, man, I'm almost ashamed to say I'm an American. I said, I wish I would have stayed underground. And my son, not knowing that person that I was, said, what you mean staying underground? I said, I had no credit cards. I had no debt. I had nothing that would tie me to this country. So if I'm not using a social security number, if I'm not using a credit card, I'm not using their banking system, I'm not financing no cars, I'm not financing no house, I'm buying everything with cash and not my name. And it's like I never existed. And I really enjoyed living that way because I was responsible for me. I didn't trust no one. But then as you mature, you say, I want to do the right thing. You have kids. You want to live right. So you open a bank account. You apply for loans. You get credit cards. You pay for housing. You finance cars. Now you're in the system. Now everything about you is traceable, trackable, controllable. And even though you pay taxes, we're still treated less than. Why is that? Does the skin tone intimidate you to the point where you feel because you're an officer of the law that you can kill an unarmed black man? I've worked with many police officers, great police officers, who do a lot in the community. But again, we do background checks to become school teachers. We do background checks to work for Amazon or anybody. But the police department, for whatever reason, they do a strenuous background check. But do they do a racist check? Think about that question. Do they do a racist check? I wonder if they even ask that question on the application process. Like, I know they ask questions like, have you ever sold drugs? Do you know any drug dealers? But I wonder if they ask the question, are you a racist? Do you not like blacks? Have you ever dealt with any blacks? How would you handle this? I wonder if they even have those questions on the application process. Because then I wonder if that would help establish or weed out a lot of these people who feel like that blacks are beneath them or should be treated less than. Everybody owes Colin Kaepernick an apology. Because again, he took a knee to bring awareness. And yet, we have others who gets in bed with the devils, make deals, and everything's a-okay now. And again, months later, another black man murdered. And this won't be the last. At what point do America say, this is getting out of hand? We have to do something. If a black man kills a black man, or I kill somebody, or someone kills me, and they know who did it, they're arrested immediately. And now you must prove yourself innocent. But when officers kill a citizen while making an arrest, it's not enough evidence, even though there's video footage. Being a black man is tough in America. We're constantly being judged. The government use our own women to judge us with a system of fatherhood. They judge us by our education. They judge us by the cars we drive, the job we have. And yet, no matter how much money you have, what kind of car you drive, how much education you have, you're black. You're subject to any of those things, from having a foot in your neck, saying you can't breathe, being choked saying you can't breathe, shot while jogging, shot walking away, shot while playing. Any of these things can happen to you. It's sad. And where do we go from here? We're protesting. And no one has yet been arrested. It's just strange I'm not understanding. This takes me back to the Central Park 5. Here's a woman who says she was raped, not shot, not killed, no footage, no video footage. And these 5 men were arrested, charged, found guilty. We have footage of African-American men being murdered, killed, assassinated. And yet, it's still not enough. America. And you wonder why people say, I don't want to be a part of it. You wonder why people leave this country. You wonder why people hate this country. You wonder why so many African Americans change their whole life because of this country. If you're not a black man, you don't have a clue, nor will you ever understand. Because we are subject to being murdered every day. When we walk out the door, it could be a routine traffic stop, it could be an ID check, anything. We are subject to being murdered. I feel for this man's family and all of the other people's family, because we continue to end up at the same place. And all these high-profile officials, what's being done? They're talking about calling in the National Guard and kill us. That's going to settle this issue. Instead of saying, hey man, we really need to address this. This is why I continue to say I have an issue with the whole system. Because again, we can come to grips with everything else that's going on, but when it comes to black men being murdered, assassinated, or killed, we never want to talk about how can we fix this. We need to sit down at the table with the people who can change laws. You have states out here where people don't have certain laws like racial. And we, for whatever reason, keep acting like racism doesn't exist. We deal with racism every day, and still nothing's being done. You pray to God. You try to be peaceful. You try to be patient. You try to think. You try to plan. You try to understand. You try everything in your power to de-escalate being murdered, mistreated. And yet, it doesn't matter.